7 to 8 years ago, I was driving to my friend's house in the evening time, and so it was getting kind of dark, and I thought it'd be, well, maybe it's a good idea if I get gas now so I don't have to get it on the way back home alone by myself. And so I pulled to this gas station on the side of the freeway, which is kind of pretty packed. And so I put my purse on the passenger seat and I got out and I pumped gas. Then all of a sudden I heard keys dropped. And then I looked over and I could kind of peer through on top of my SUV, right? I'm 5'2", so I'm not that tall to see on top of the whole thing. And then I saw my passenger door open and I looked through the inside and I had seen that someone had opened my passenger door and grabbed my purse from the passenger seat. And in that moment, I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, go after them, go get your purse back. And so I tried to run across in front of my car to go get the purse, but they had already sped off into the feeder out to the freeway. In that moment, I didn't know what to do because what was in my purse was my spare car keys, my house keys, my ID, my credit card, my phone, and just everything that held personal to me was inside that purse. And so today's episode, I want to share with you how I got through something as traumatic as that within 2 weeks of just continuing doing work, releasing this negative energies out of my field. Or it could be simple as getting over a grudge with someone, right? Because all these negative energies can possibly consume you for long periods of time. So today's episode is going to be an interesting one. How to release energies, something as simple as getting over a grudge, or something as traumatic as being in a robbery attempt. So let's cut to the chase. Tammy Doe, let's go.
Audio Jungle.
On this, I just want to say thank you to everybody who followed my journey and subscribed to me. I finally reached 1,000 subscribers. It is my first milestone, so thank you everyone who supported me on this journey. And so I saw, I have dreamed and vision of what the light goddess is going to unfold to. So it'll be very interesting to see back later on down the road to see this video and how my first 1,000 subscribers all the way to 20 million is what I keep seeing as my visions. So I'm telling you, once tune in to your dreams and visions because they are guidances from your higher self. So as long as you follow that and keep following your intuition and following that guidance, it's gonna get you there. I have no doubt that I'm gonna get to millions of viewers through this. I don't know what the light goddess is gonna unfold to, but I see it, I feel it, I'm living into that future. So any of you who have your dreams out there, don't give up on your dreams, even though they seem ridiculously huge and unthinkable of. If you follow your intuition, you follow the guidance, you will get there. I'm starting to see that unfold, and I don't feel like I need to justify to anybody, right? Because this is my own truth. I feel it, I sense it, I'm living into that future. So that's just my 2 cents in this. Thank you everybody who followed me along my journey. Cheers to a bunch of more unfolding to go. So getting back to that incident. So when I was robbed at that robbery attempt in the gas station, I didn't know what to do. I really thought that I got back in my car and I was about to leave, go back to my friend's house and kind of deal with it there. But as I calmed down and I was hyperventilating, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have my phone, and something just told me just go in and call the cops. So I went in and I called the cops and I called my friend and I called my sister, and I kind of calmed down. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna do. All my stuff is in there. What? Now everything is gone. I don't even have a phone. And at that point, I was just starting my career in financial advising, so it's commission based. So I didn't have a lot of money then. And so they did a report, and honestly, that first couple of days, I was so consumed with fear that, hey, what if my business cards were in there, my home address for my license was there. Like, what if they find me and steal my car because my spare car keys are in there, like my spare house keys was in there. Like, what am I gonna do? And so I was crying a lot, and I was literally like a victim of this circumstance. And fortunately, during that time, I was in this 6 months training and development program. So I had a coach to kind of coach me through this ordeal. But how she shared with me is like, all right, Tammy, I get that you're a victim of the circumstances, right? So what can you do in your power right now to overcome this, right? I get that you're sad and you're afraid and you're scared, but don't let those emotions consume you, because look what's happening to you now. You're stuck at home, you're so fearful going outside, like you're constantly like suspicious of everything around you. Like, don't let that consume you. What can you do now to prevent what you fear is going to happen? And so she had me shared all the things I feared. So one, I was feared, like, what if they steal my car? It's like, well, can you get your car locks replaced? And I was like, well, I can, but it's going to be like $1 to $2 grand. Like, I don't have that money right now. And she's like, well, that's really up to you, right? You can take the chances or change your car locks. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just take my chances, right? Whatever happens, gonna happen. And my second fear is like, well, what if they start using my credit card and all this stuff? And she's like, well, go call your credit cards and cancel them. And so I addressed that fear. I called all my credit cards and I canceled all of them, and they had me send home a new credit card. It's like, well, what's your third fear? It's like, well, like, what if they come after me? Or like, what if this happens again? And then she really said something that really hit the nail for me. Like, Tammy, look, you're very fortunate that you didn't, and nothing else happened in this event that got you hurt or injured, right? Because most likely they may have a weapon in their car, and nothing happened to you. So realize that they are dealing what they're dealing through, and that is their only escape, is to rob from someone else. You, in your perspective, you're fortunate to have these kind of things, and you can repair them, you can get new things, right? It's just material things that you're losing. So don't let it consume you. And every conversation I realized that I was talking to people, I was like, well, I got robbed, and like, I'm such a victim of this event, and I'm letting it consume my reality. Like, this doesn't define me on where I am right now. And she said, my coach, like, I love her to death. Everything she speaks just resonates so much, where within 2 weeks of time, like the first week I was like in my bed, like crying and just like share with everybody like I'd been robbed and like being consumed in this incident. And then she got me out of it. She's like, look, I get that you're sad, I get that you're afraid, and I get that you're a victim of this circumstance, but do understand that you have the power to change the outcome. And the bright side of it is you didn't get hurt. And so she's like, give yourself some time to cope. I get it, it's like very traumatic feelings, but give yourself a week or 2 weeks. Give yourself that time. And when you are done with like feeling those emotions, get over it. It's done. Like, you did what you can to prevent the situation. And so moving forward, I was just like, okay, I'm more conscious. I'll lock the door when I go get the gas. I got a new phone. I didn't change my car keys. Nothing ended up happening. And the fascinating thing that happened is the next week, I got a letter in the mail, and it didn't have a return address, but it was addressed to me. So when I opened it, inside was my driver's license and all my credit cards. And so it's either whoever robbed me sent me back the credit cards, or maybe have threw it away and someone saw my identity and returned it back to me. But whatever it was, like all my fear started disappearing. Here's my guidance to you as through the coaching I had was, if it wasn't for my coach, if it wasn't for the perfect timing that I was around the 6 months training program, honestly, I would have been consumed by this incident and I would have let it define me, right? And here's the thing with you, right? If you have a grudge with someone, complete it, right? Don't let it consume you, because all there really is something that happened, right? It doesn't have to mean anything, but we put our meaning to it. So for example, like this incident, I could like say that, oh my God, I've been a victim of robbery, like I'm poor me, blah, blah, blah. And that will be in all my conversations. But that's not who I am, right? I don't want that to relive that memory. So same with you, like if you have a grudge with someone, address it, because something may have happened and then you made this significant story that, oh, this person's bad, this person's judging me, this person is unreasonable. But over here, that person might have been like too busy and just made us say something that totally went through their head and not even consider it. And then they forgot about it. And over here, you're like holding this grudge, like, oh, this person's such a bad person. Over here, they're living life normally and they totally forgot about it. So all there really is what happened and what you made it mean. So don't let it define or consume you, because that is a negative energy that's trapped within your body. And until you can start releasing it through language, through like these distinctions, you start feeling more free. Because I know for sure that incident would have defined me, like for a very, very long time. Like, I honestly stopped talking about the incident within 2 to 3 weeks after it happened, because I honestly don't want to let that define me. And it's funny because in the news, I saw that I was one of like a chain of robberies that happened to women, especially with large SUVs that are being robbed in this incident, this chain of robberies. And so that could have been like a huge part of my life. And now like I don't even think about it anymore. I think, okay, so what happened? I got what I needed, I got one in the back, and so just let it go. So my moral of the story, and I just want to keep it short, is because this is such a significant event in my life, and traumatic as well. And I want you to realize like what happened in your life and what traumatic things that happened in your life, and kind of replay the story, because all there really is what happened and what you made it mean. For me, all that really happened was they took my items, my material things. But what I made it mean is, oh, these people are bad, like I'm a victim, right? They don't deserve it, like they should go to jail. But that was just my meaning and how it occurs to me. But whoever's robbing me, it could be another story, right? It could have been like they're in a dead end, like this is what they had to do to support their family, right? A lot of their story I don't know. So that is a karma that they need to live out in their life. But for me, this was a major lesson for me, is to get over what I need to get over and restructure the story that I made through myself. So this is just one story example I want to share with you, just how to release negative energies. And within the next couple of episodes, like I want to get more in depth of like how to release energies through language, to different tools and distinctions that you can see through your perspective. Because people say it's like, oh, just let it go, let it go. It's not as simple as you think. I took this course called Landmark Education. If you've never heard of it, go look into it. I'm gonna put in the link in the bio below. But I spent 2 years in this coaching training development program. And I'm really thankful that this happened while I was in that program, to help me get through this such a traumatic event. And how you complete negative energies through language, because you have to learn how to talk to yourself to release these energies. And it's a lot easier said than done. But as long as you get coaching around it, it opens up new worlds. Like, I'm not even kidding you. And I'm not getting any like affiliate money out of this. Like, I'm honestly sharing it because it has made such a profound and significant difference in my life. And it's funny because when I'm around this community talking to Landmark graduates, it's like a whole different conversation, right? So whenever I'm talking to my coach, like I'm sharing about what happened and like all this meaning I add to it, she's like, Tammy, get off of it. You're on it, right? It's like, all there really is what happened, and everything else, you made it mean something else. And like, okay, I would catch myself like, okay, let's got it. Let's move on to the next conversation. So this is the kind of things you get out of these like personal training developments, because you don't have to get stuck in all that fluff and BS that you made up for yourself. And that's why I love being around Landmark graduates, because they get it. There's no story. All there really is what happened and what we made it mean. And so conversation with them is just straight to the point. Whenever I catch them being on like their fluff or their stories, like, hey, you're on it, just get off it. And then they would catch themselves and say, oh, got it. Get it complete with themselves, and then we just move on to talk about like things that matter. Just not about gossip, not about talking about someone else, not about being victim. So that was my story. I just want to share about how to release negative energies. So I really hope that you get a lot out of what I'm sharing through my personal experience. I've only shared with you with things that I've experienced through my journey, and honestly, I feel like Landmark was a big part of like the first step of my awakening journey, releasing negative energies through language. And then now, as I'm going deeper, I'm learning about Moldavite, because those who have access to Moldavite, you're going to all those negative energies are starting to come up like very fast, like incredibly fast, where if you don't have the right tools, the right coaching on how to release these negative energies, it's gonna consume you. And language is probably the easiest on this third dimensional realm that we can start releasing energies, releasing all these negative events in our life and just getting complete with them. Because we are our word. Whatever we put out, we have to start completing them. And so you are creating this whole journey that you're living in. And so until you really learn how to complete them through language, this Moldavite is only going to make the situation a lot bigger. So look into Landmark if you get a chance. I don't get anything out of it. First part of my awakening. And then now that I'm ready, I came in contact with Moldavite. And so that's all I want to share today. I am selling or like making these, check it out. It's like what's it called? One of those energy pads or technology. I forgot what you call it. But one of those electrical current pads. But these are made with 14 karat gold, just kind of help conduct with electricity, right? Because energy conductors are gold, silver, and copper. So these energies, I honestly recommend you wearing by your heart chakra, so that it could be aligned with all your other chakras to open up your chakras, so all these energies can go through. So like always have it on your body. I try my best not to sell just the stone by itself, just because it's so easily that you can lose it or drop it or break it. And so I'm going to do my best to like hand make these into pendants. So I'm going to have it on my website in the link in the bio below. If you enjoyed what I'm sharing, and if you want to be involved in this goddess crystal grid, don't forget to like and subscribe. But that's all I want to share with you today. Any questions or comments, leave in the bio below. Everything else I want to share with you is in the bio below. And anything else you want to hear, comment in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys today. Timmy Doe, signing off.